Hello, my name is Dustin Seaman. I am the Assistant Superintendent of Education Services here in BHUSD. I'm actually just closing up my 5th year here. Within our strategic plan, our primary goal was to leverage student data in delivering professional development to our teachers. And what does that look like within our schools? Within the elementary realm, we typically call those our data chats. It's taking information around our students and allowing our teachers and our administration to collaborate around what are the best next steps for those students and for possibly that grade band or even the school at large. In the secondary realm, it is a lot of work around our professional learning communities. The data chats are PLCs too, which is professional learning communities, but we're very explicit in utilizing those terms in the secondary realm. And that the exact same thing happens at the secondary level, whether it be the biology department is meeting to discuss a common assessment, to our English department is meeting to discuss a common assessment for the whole grade level. And that allows both administration and teachers to be able to see where students are and where we need to take them from there.
I'm Katie Carter. I'm the math department chair at Beverly Vista Middle School. This year in our professional development for the math department, when we went to online learning, we gained some wonderful new teachers in the math department that we hadn't met before. So one of the things that we did is we got to know our new teachers and shared our experiences with one another, which was great. We also took advantage of that opportunity to be able to go over and review our curricula for each of our classes and our pathways and our pacing guides and things like that, just to make sure we were all still on the same page and made whatever tweaks and changes we needed to do. And it was great to work with one another, also be able to get ideas from one another. During COVID, when we were out on online learning, we all learned new strategies to work with our students. And so that was great to share those. And I feel like we're all much better teachers now and learned how to work with our co-teachers better and be able to work with each one of our individual students and get them what they needed.
Hi, my name is April Goldsobel, and I am the department chair for history here at BVMS. Go Bulldogs! We are so grateful for all the PD opportunities we have been afforded. In the history department, we have been really focusing on argumentative writing. We've been using a document-based question, also known as the DBQ model, for many years. And to continue our growth with the DBQ project, document-based questions, where students take primary sources, they analyze them, and they learn to create an argument and defend their argument using evidence and analysis. We actually were afforded the opportunity for a second training session this past October to fine-tune our already solid skills. To take the DBQ writing model a step further, the history department decided to adopt the CER model, which is part of the Next Gen Science program here at the middle school. And CER stands for Claim, Evidence, Reasoning. And so we turned our argumentative writing into a claim, evidence, reasoning model to kind of create that common language to unify our entire middle school. And not only are the science and history departments already using this writing model, next year at BVMS, CER model is going to be a focus for the entire school in all content areas. We love being ahead of the curve in the history department. We are so grateful for all of the PD opportunities we have been afforded. When we asked for time to collaborate, we are given. We're asked to have a trainer come. It's been provided. We are so grateful. Thank you so very much.
I'm Samantha Thorson. I'm the department chair for the science department at BVMS. And this year we were super lucky to get Liz to come and train us on NGSS, which are the next generation science standards. It was really great because we did unit planning. So we learned how to make effective assessments that actually assess the students' understanding of the standards. So making assessments based on the standards, making rubrics to grade those assessments, and then working backwards to figure out what the kids need to know in order to be able to be successful in that standard. Did a lot of CER training, which stands for Claim Evidence Reasoning, which is perfect because it's going to be BVMS's focus next year is going to be on CERs, so the science department is going to get to lead on that. For the CERs, the students were doing the 5 E's, which is engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate. And we really focused on the engage, explore, explain part of it, where the kids, instead of it being the reverse where we explain a whole bunch of stuff and then the kids do a lab about that, instead the kids are doing a lab or doing something hands-on where they're exploring something before they actually even know what it is, and then taking what they learn from that explore, and then when we explain it to them, being able to connect, oh, that thing that I'm learning right now is what I was looking at yesterday when I was doing that lab, that really cool lab. And then using their explore, explain to then write in science and make a claim, use evidence from their lab, and then use reasoning from that explain to write a CER about that subject. They take all those CERs, they take all that understanding, and then they're successful in their assessment at the end. So we were able, as a department, to really dive into all of that with Liz, and we got 3 pull-out days to do all those trainings with her and really explore how we can get even better with the new science standards and help our kids be successful.
One of the primary focuses of our strategic plan was really making sure that we were creating common language amongst our administrative team to be able to then go back to our teaching staff and be able to articulate what we want our professional development to look like from TK to 12th grade in BHUSD. One way that we did this was being able to work with Michael McDowell and studying some of John Hattie's work. And we really honed in on that 1 year's growth in 1 year's time was the primary focus of our professional development.
So I'm Marla Weiss. I teach both in the math and science departments, AP Biology, Geometry, and Honors Algebra 2 Trig. The goal for the school year was, for the staff, was to try and demonstrate 1 year's growth in 1 year's time. It's kind of difficult to assess, but throughout the process, of which I think this year it was different because it was a process, we were able to kind of go throughout the year or throughout the semester of the visits and look at how the kids were able to do a little bit more self-assessment and learn more about how they learn and what they can do to improve their own learning.
Hi, I'm Cer Caver. I'm the principal at Hawthorne Elementary School. I just finished my 20th year in BHUSD, and I'm starting my 5th year as principal at Hawthorne. Our goal for BHUSD across the board was to grow 1 year's growth in 1 year's time. So we asked ourselves and we asked our teachers, how do you grow a year? And so one of the ways that we asked our teachers to grow this year was to participate in PLCs. PLC stands for Professional Learning Community, and it's about peers helping each other to be better. We have a community of great teachers, and they can be excellent with the help of each other. TK through 12th grade have professional learning communities, or PLCs. In PLCs, there's 3 components: data, instructional strategies, and classroom implementation. Our data piece, which the high school and middle school refer to simply as PLCs, the elementary school refers to as data chats. So whether we're talking about PLCs or data chats, when we talk about data, we are looking at a common assessment across a grade level. We might be looking at French and how the students are doing in a French class, or science, or just language arts reading goals in an elementary 2nd grade classroom. When we're looking at data, we have a whole bunch of numbers with us without any other information. And what we need is every adult that interacts with those students to give us some information about who that child is and how they're reacting. So if we have a student that has no growth, we want to know what happened there. And if we have a student who had exceptional growth during a period of time, we also want to know what happened there. And so data chats are not just about looking at data, but to understand why the data is relevant and what we're seeing, to either duplicate it or change it for the next round. The way that we get this information is to bring together classroom teachers, special education teachers, and any other support teachers that have information about that student. And we meet about 6 to 8 weeks. After working with Michael McDowell and learning all about the research that John Hattie did, it's really evident that all of teaching is about craft and how we teach our kids. And so we spent a lot of time this year talking about and working on teacher instruction. so that when we go to implementation and actual classroom strategies, we know that it's about better teaching and really clear teaching so that we will see that reflected in our data.
My name is Cami. I teach special education here at Beverly Vista, and I was pursuing the Exceptional Needs Certificate, which spans the grade levels of kindergarten through 12th grade. And yeah, I had such a great experience. I love learning, and I always want to be the best teacher, show up the best teacher for my kids every single day. I think there's no better way to show that your love is learning by modeling it and doing it yourself. And so just to keep fine-tuning my practice and to be the best teacher that I can. Starting this back in 2020 was definitely an unusual summer, and all of us were feeling really disconnected, having been on Zoom for so long. So meeting every week with the cohort was absolutely, we'll say, life-changing. So we met with Michael, Dr. Sherman, excuse me, and we had two amazing instructors who guided us through the process of explaining what National Board is and the standards of what an accomplished teacher is. And so those weekly meetings, we were able to reflect and collaborate, learn from one another, read each other's writing, but also expanded my network of working with teachers all over the nation. So there's Facebook groups that I'm now a part of that interacting with teachers that I wouldn't have otherwise. So super grateful for this opportunity and the personal growth that I feel like I've developed the last 2 years.
Hi, I'm Pete Van Rossum. I teach social studies at the high school. All right, so considering the materials that we've adopted, I think the exciting thing about them is that they integrate a lot of online resources. They're very visual. They give students a multiple number of different ways to access the curriculum. And I think that's really important nowadays because kids, just looking at a textbook is really not really what they kind of look towards anymore. The way that the materials will integrate with our current instructional practice and increase student learning, they integrate very well with what we're already doing online, Google Classroom, for example. So it's a great way to kind of distribute assignments, to communicate with both parents and students can always look to see where we are if they miss a class or something like that. There's a lot of backup and reinforcement, so they can take kind of charge of their learning a little bit more on their own and figure out the things that they might have missed and keep up with things in that regard. Well, I think in terms of the department planning together and trying to be more unified, we had to stop and kind of look at the key concepts we want to teach during the course of the school year, which required us to really do some planning to sort of set some milestones as we go through the course of a semester, to kind of agree on the topics that we want to teach and have a basic understanding of where we should be at any given moment in time, which I think is going to unify and kind of standardize to an extent what we do individually across our department.
Hi, my name is Kim Decatrell. I'm the Assistant Principal of Instruction at Beverly Hills High School, and I've been with the district for the last 3 years and an administrator for 7. So not only have we had the opportunity to learn as an administration and a leadership team, but we've also had the advantage of providing our teachers with many opportunities for their own professional learning. Our new teachers have had the opportunity to participate in our California Teacher Induction Program, known as CTIP.
Hi, my name is Tanya Guerra, and I just finished my CTIP induction presentation. I have had a wonderful experience in CTIP. I was fortunate to be placed with an amazing mentor, Jana Leitner, and she has supported me over the past 5 years. And I've had so many opportunities to grow as an educator and have meaningful discussions with Jana and the rest of the CTIP team. Dr. Michael Sherman has been such a wonderful help and such a great support. And I really can see the growth that I've made over the years. And I am just so thankful for the opportunity to have been able to do this through Beverly Hills Unified School District. I really loved our monthly meetings because it helped see different perspectives of other classrooms, and we got to discuss areas of struggle maybe that other teachers and myself included would have, and get different points of view and tips on how to move forward. So I think that helped us all grow and feel comfortable and realize that we all have ups and downs and obstacles to overcome, and how to do them in a positive way and in the best outcomes for our students. I will be graduating the master's program in curriculum and instruction.
The National Board Certification Program through Stanford University is something our veteran teachers have the opportunity to participate in. So in addition to these special programs targeting special groups of teachers, our new teachers and our veteran teachers, we have our evaluation system which supports all of our teachers every year.
I was evaluated this year by Kim Decatrell in my geometry class, and it was the walkthrough cycle. So she was able to come in freely. I think she came in 6 or 7 times. We had great discussions afterwards. One of the nice things this year is the conversations with Ms. Decatrell were not just about the teaching, but also about teaching theory and methodologies. So a lot of the things that I learned a handful of years ago in the CMAS program, we were able to have great discussions with that. And then she also was able to bring in new ways that I can also improve my teaching, which it was more conversational, it was very collaborative, and I think that we embraced the process more than I've seen in the past. When you're evaluated a number of times, or in my being evaluated a number of times, Ms. Decatrell was able to bring me to be aware of things that I can obviously improve on that I might not be so self-aware of, as if having a video in my room so that I could watch myself teach. And so I think that allowed me to have a little bit more personal growth in my question asking, how to better ask questions instead of one-directional questioning, more interactive questioning and letting the students question with themselves. And I think that was probably one of the biggest benefits of the process.
The foundation of a great education is safety. And so we had the opportunity to partner with the city this year on CPR training for the district. Each site hosted a training that provided our teachers with the skills and information they need to respond with confidence should an emergency occur.
CPR is a life-saving skill, and it's important, especially when it's a teacher, because they have students with them all throughout the day. And also, too, it carries home to their family and their children. Things come up every couple of years as new innovations. For example, now we no longer give breaths. We have ways of doing that. American Heart, with whom we're affiliated, is constantly looking to improve our teaching curriculum to make it bigger and better.
Challenge-based coaching is an opportunity for teachers to work with a technology coach one-on-one for personalized attention in their classrooms. Coaches work with teachers as they implement new instructional strategies in their classrooms, and together they look at what impact it's having on student achievement. In this way, teachers are able to leverage technology to further their instructional practices.
Yes, I have loved I4 coaching so much. My favorite part of the week has been my 8:30 sessions with Karen on Tuesday mornings. The coaching has helped me be more thoughtful about my lesson design. Without calling it backward planning, I've learned how to really assess what I want students to learn, develop programs and activities for them to get them to a place where they're doing the learning. And I think to design more engaging activities for all of my students. I think probably my favorite aspect of coaching has been learning to discuss difficult topics with my students that come out of their reading, but might lead us down a dangerous political path. And because I am having the students do all of the research before they can do the discussions, and I'm teaching them through my coaching, I've learned how to teach them to choose media sources that are less biased. We're able to have much better discussions in class that are much less about what we feel and much more about what we've learned. So that's directly come out of my experience with my I4 coach. I think one of the best strategies that I've learned has been TQEs, or thoughts, lingering questions, and epiphanies. So we come up with, the kids work in small groups and they develop questions that we end up talking about in class as they relate to the literature. And then we take those discussions and we start mapping them. So I use something called a spider web map, and we graph the discussion so that students can actually see how many times they've participated, how many times they've asked a question, and how many times they've pushed the conversation forward. They also see when they don't speak. So all of those discussions are assessed, they're given a grade, 1 grade for the class and 1 grade individually. And I think it's improved my discussion in my classes more than I ever thought was possible. And I thought I did a decent job with discussions before, but this encourages quieter students to speak, and it also encourages more vocal students to listen and to ask questions of their more quiet classmates. Any teacher who wants to be more engaged in teaching, more excited about teaching, and I have to say, wants to improve their own morale, sign up for I4 coaching. It is the best thing that the district has done for me as an individual teacher during my entire career. So I strongly recommend it.
I want to take an opportunity to thank all of those that took time out of their schedule to be able to provide you examples of what they experienced throughout the year in our professional development under Goal 2 of our strategic plan. And we look forward to continuing a lot of this work to ensure that all of our students make 1 year's growth in 1 year's time going into the 22-23 school year.